Like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who can bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GGD Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Ticket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth off LDBC. We are the underground out the job. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
All right, man. Y'all press 1 if y'all can hear me in the comments. Again, press 1 if you guys can hear me in the comment section. Got a mic check real quick. Appreciate everybody for tapping on in. And we're going to get right into this video tonight, you guys. Like, share, and subscribe as y'all come on in here, man. Because this is going to be class in session. The last video I put out, once again, I have people that have come in the comment section continuously asking the same question. Okay, so I know that there's an education problem in this world where a lot of people do not like studying. They don't know how to understand and process information. And this is why I suggest all the youth go to school. Go to school, man. Don't go to class and act a fool. You know, I used to do that. Don't do that. Go to school and study. And then after you go to school and you study, you will pass the test and you will move on to the next grades. And then you'll be able to go to college, right? Because a lot of people, you know, they're unable to survive in college because they're unable to think and process simple information. So you can go back to my last video and look in the comment section. There's a gentleman who left a comment. I think I replied to him. And so I'm going to break this down in the simplest terms for everybody that's watching this video right now so that you can all come to an understanding. Everyone come to a simple understanding why Sean Diddy Combs will go to prison for the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. Now, even for all of you news stations, if you would like me to come on your news station, I will gladly come on the news station, right? Gladly come on your news station and break this down in layman's terms, right? Layman's terms, right? I will go to all these news stations, right? And I'll break this down because it's too easy. And it just shows you that either, you know, it's a lot of foolishness going on. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys the simplest form. Okay. So first, everybody, and I want everybody to get a pencil and get a notepad, all right? Because this is how we have to do this so people will understand so that they don't fail the test. Because when Sean Diddy Combs is found guilty on all counts and is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, I don't want people arguing saying, oh, man, I can't believe it, man, they did him dirty. No. Study to show thyself approved. Okay? So now, you got your pencil, you got your notepad. Now let's go. Racketeering. In a racketeering act, a racketeering must be an organization. It cannot be just one person. Many people ask, well, why is Sean Combs being charged with racketeering and he's the only person on trial? Now, I want you to write this down. Number one, write this down. Everybody write this down. Number one, why is Sean Diddy Combs being charged by himself. Now, I'm going to give you the question and I'm going to give you the answer that I've given you from day one. Okay? Now, Sean Diddy Combs is being charged by himself because he is the only fool that is in that indictment. Write that down as an answer right there. Sean Diddy Combs is being charged alone in this Rico because he is the only fool who thought he was going to fight this case against the federal government and win. Okay? Now, it shows you in the paperwork, and I've showed you this 1,000 times, when everyone asks, well, where is all the co-conspirators? Ladies and gentlemen, it's in the paperwork. All of the co-conspirators got immunity, including Cassie. Now, number two, let's ask the question. Why did Cassie get immunity? Question mark. Cassie, here's the answer. Cassie got immunity because Cassie was the star witness that allowed the feds to what we call go into spider mode. A spider has many legs. So all Cassie was the hub to open up those many legs. Everybody thought the case was just based on Cassie. No. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to our chart and let's show everybody our chart. Cassie, if you see on the further left-hand side of the chart, it says at the top, Sean Combs Enterprise, Rico Act, racketeering, Rico short for racketeering. Diddy is the boss. Everybody else on this chart right now is the people who have been significant that have come up in this case. Now, the only person I didn't put on this chart was the security guard, pretty much. That's it. The first security guard that was in the hotel. Now, what are we talking about, Ticket? Well, let's go to the victims. Right now, we heard today that victim number 3, which would be Gina, Sister Gina, could potentially be out. But it doesn't matter because Sister Gina gave sworn statements under oath. And those sworn statements could still be used in court, in a court of law, and enter into evidence. So we took Sister Gina off the list of victims right now because they mentioned up to a 5th victim, right? So on the far left-hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, on this PowerPoint presentation presented to you by Ticket, I'm stepping on your Rudy Poo candy asses with facts, not emotion, not affection, not cap, but with facts. Cassie, who is the only person, Cassie, the only person who we have seen and who we are focusing on right now. You forgot there is a victim number 2 that we haven't even got to. We haven't got to that victim. We haven't got to those witnesses. We haven't got to that evidence. We haven't got to that discovery. We haven't got to those employees. We haven't got to those individuals and other people that were involved. We are just on number 1. You still have a victim 2, a victim 4, and a victim 5. So everything you've seen with Cassie, once Cassie's part is over with, which will probably take to the end of this week, hold up, wait a minute, let me put some in it. We're going to come back, put it in reverse, go to victim number 2, and do this all over again with each individual victim. Then, after that process happens again, start over again, victim 4, go down, same thing. Start over again, victim 5, same thing. Then Diddy's team will be able to put on their defense. We'll talk about that in a little while, but let me cook. And shout out to Ariel, shout out to Nikita, shout out to Jimmy, and all those other people that sent donations to the Cash App, because y'all already know I'm standing on business. It is what it is, man. The dude's an absolute demon. You understand what I'm saying? And we know where demons belong. They belong in one place and one place only. And that's just facts. So let's get back to this video, right? So, Cassie, that was question number 2. Cassie is not being charged because Cassie Ventura is one of the ones who have given the entire layout to the feds. What else about Cassie Ventura? Cassie Ventura doesn't have a criminal record. So that works in her favor. She has no criminal record. Right? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. No criminal record. Right? Now, so as we look at Cassie, everyone else on this screen, except for the other victims, are related to Cassie Ventura. And just to Rico. We just talking Rico. Okay? So now, what was being charged? Because we ain't even talking sex trafficking. We're not even talking solicitation of prostitution. We're talking Rico. Okay? So now, ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's in the building, y'all make sure y'all smash the like button. Because this is going to be the biggest can of whoop ass that I'm going to open that you've ever seen. Now, once again, let's go back to the paperwork. Because it states in the paperwork exactly what Sean Combs is being charged with. So, question number 3. For everybody that's in the building, and they keep asking, I don't know what Diddy is being charged with. Well, guess what? The ticket is here to let you know, to guarantee damn well to you, so saith the great one, so saith the final boss. I'm here to guarantee damn well to you, by the end of this video, if you are not hooked on phonics, you need to be, because you will learn why and what Sean Diddy Combs is being accused of. We're just focusing on the Rico tonight. We're not focusing on sex trafficking. We're not focusing on solicitation of prostitution, which they already have. What do you mean they already have that ticket? Well, let's put a side note right here. Side note before we finish with number 3. Side note is that the feds have already showed you they've got multiple photos, multiple names, multiple information, multiple testimony, and all these things of these sex workers. That part right there is the easiest to prove. That is count number 3. What is count number 3, Ticket? Count number 3 is this. Count number 3 is solicitation of prostitution, transportation to engage in prostitution. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. Let me just go through this real quick to cook these people real quick so y'all can understand what count 3 is. The grand jury further charges. Count 3. Count 3. They're charging. Charges. When you charge someone, this is what they're being charged with. So when people say, I don't know what he's being charged with, it's right there. DJ Vladimir, it's right there. Count 3. Transportation. Repeat after me. Transportation to engage in prostitution. That's count 3. That's what he's being charged with in count 3. The grand jury further charges, because remember, there were other counts before this, so they're further charging this against Diddy, right? And they give you a time frame too, which is crazy. From at least in or about 2009. And let me put another side note on here. Everybody keeps running around here, hey man, why ain't Gene Deal involved in this, man? Why he ain't in this? Well, because, Jabroni, it's simple mathematics, ladies and gentlemen. The feds are charging from years that Gene Deal wasn't even working with Diddy. It's simple. It's simple as cake. So all of you guys that asked, why isn't Gene Deal being charged? Why isn't Gene Deal? Because he had to have been. No. The feds are charging after Gene Deal worked for Sean Diddy Combs. The time range that they are charging in, Gene Deal was not working with Diddy. Period. This is easy work. So put that as a side note as well. I gave you 2 side notes, right? So make sure y'all write all this down because I don't want you to forget it, because you don't need to fail the test come judgment day, when it's time for this dude to get his guilty verdict, you will understand completely why. Well, number one, right? Now, the grand jury further charges. Count 3. Transportation to engage, prostitution. What are you talking about, Ticket? I'm talking about all these dudes right here. Right? Transportation to engage in prostitution. That's where all of them come in. The feds have released their names to most all of them, information, and they've had testimony already. A few of them have had testimony, right? Now, from at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2024 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. What does elsewhere mean? That means all over the United States or all over the world, right? Elsewhere. That could mean all those places. Peep this now. Sean Combs, right? AKA Puff Daddy, AKA P. Diddy, Run the City, Show No Pity, AKA Diddy, AKA PD, AKA Love, right? The defendant, Sean Combs is the defendant, y'all. Write this down and take a picture. Knowingly transported an individual. It just says individual. They've shown you multiple faces, and they got more than this too. It's like 13 of these, 12, 13 of these guys. I can only fit 9 on the screen. So they've shown you. They're only saying one. All they got to do is show you one. This is what they charge in the indictment. The defendant knowingly transported an individual. That's singular, not plural. Now, what does singular mean? Singular and plural are different. Plural means more, many. Singular means one. So out of all those people I just showed you, the feds are saying Diddy Combs knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with the intent that the individual engaged in prostitution. Let me say this again. They have Diddy. They're not even saying that he made the deal. They're saying he intended to make the deal. It's right there in the paperwork. That's what intent means. So what does intent mean? Let's write this down. Side note, intent, right? When I have the intention to do something. Let me give you a perfect example. Honey, she fine. She looking good as wine. I intend to ask her for her phone number, right? So I'm thinking or desiring to ask her for her phone number. That's intent, right? Think about that now. So, honey, she fine. I want to go ask her number, man. I am intending to ask her for her number. That's the definition of intent. So, Sean Combs knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with the intent that the individual engaged in prostitution. And you think, well, Ticket, what are you talking about right there? Oh, well, hold on. Let's write another side note. The feds. Diddy had came from Miami to New York on his own recognizance. That means on his own free will. He came closer to New York because his lawyers thought they were going to negotiate a deal to where he turned himself in, not got arrested. But when the feds wanted him to come in, he was going to walk right in the front door and turn himself in. They were trying to do that for what purpose? To show that Diddy was not a flight risk. He wasn't going to run. He's willing to turn himself in. Y'all just let us know, and we will deliver him right to your front door. But for some reason, the feds didn't do that. For some reason, the feds ran down and locked Diddy up. They arrested his ass right in New York. Why did they do that? Well, the feds went to Diddy's room. And what did they find in Diddy's room? In the hotel in New York, where his lawyers had transported him to be ready to turn himself in? Well, Cassie's nowhere to be found. She's nowhere in the picture no more. So you can't use Cassie in this excuse. Can't say, oh, yeah, this is Cassie. Can't use her excuse no more. She long gone. She done already sued the man, everything. The man done already been, you know what I'm saying? House been raided, everything like that. See, this is where you have to blame Diddy for blatant stupidity, blithering idiocy, right? The feds go in the room and they find baby oil, drugs, money, women's clothing. Let's rewind. Day one, the feds burnt in everybody's brain. What? Tons of baby oil. Everybody's in the courtroom. Why do they keep talking about all this baby oil? Why do they keep talking about all this? The feds was putting in your brain all of the different things that Diddy used in his freak offs. Baby oil, drugs, things of that nature, sex toys, right? So they put in your brain that this is what Diddy has when he's ready to do a freak off, which seems like he's addicted to those. Because why in the blue hell would you get your house raided and then you're going and you're in the hotel in New York thinking you're going to have a freak off in the hotel in New York? Right when you're supposed to be getting ready to turn yourself into the feds. You know what I think? Any great mind in the world would think, hey man, I think somebody snitched. I think the feds had an eye on Diddy. And I believe that the feds found out that Diddy was going to have a sex worker fly in. Hence why in this indictment, it says including about 2024 in the Southern District of New York. That would have been 2024 when Diddy got arrested in November, right? And it says he intended. So to me, I think they went and busted Diddy because I personally think that the feds, and they probably come up with this surprise a little later on for y'all. I believe the feds may have spoken with a person who could have potentially been on to have that freak off. Who is that person? We don't know. Who is that alleged woman's clothes? The feds didn't say yet. Let me repeat myself again. The feds said that they found women's clothes in Diddy's hotel room. But what they haven't told you yet is whose women's clothes were those. Now, I bet if you were to find out whose women's clothes were those, you will find out maybe if there was a sex worker and maybe you got to where and who that sex worker was that could potentially supposed to have came in that apartment building. That's just my thoughts. That's just my thoughts. That's just my thought process. I could be completely wrong. I doubt it. And I think that may come back up in this case. And see, I think with the feds, they surgical. So what they do is they let you think that you got them when they really got you, which is what happened today too, right? And you haven't seen everything yet. You've only seen a little bit, and you better believe it's going to get worse. See, the feds are smart. The feds put all of their vulnerable stuff out first. They knew Cassie was going to get attacked. The whole world is acting like the feds got ambushed and didn't know. They knew that. They're not worried about that. Their case isn't only solidified off Cassie Ventura. The feds play the numbers game. They know that after a while, all these people are not going to continue to believe that you're telling the truth and everybody else is lying. Not going to believe this. Now, to the next part. So I believe that's why they put it like this in this indictment, that he intended, right? With the intent that the individual engage in prostitution and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the same, to wit, Combs transported, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the transportation of female victims and commercial sex workers in interstate and foreign commerce on multiple occasions with the intent that they engage in prostitution. They say intent. Read this. They say multiple victims, female victims. What does that let y'all know? Ladies and gentlemen, we've only heard from one female victim, and that's Cassie. We haven't heard from the other female victims. When they hit the court, oh, the fat lady definitely gonna sing. But she's already finished singing right now, and I'm gonna tell you why tonight. But that right there lets you know. It says he willfully caused the transportation of multiple female victims with an S. That's plural. So that means they got more than Cassie, who's gonna get up there and say, "Hey man, I was sex trafficked too." And what's gonna happen when the public is not gonna be able to call Cassie a whore? What's gonna happen when the public is not gonna be able to say, "Hey man, Cassie's lying"? What's gonna happen if the feds got text messages from this other girl where she's saying, "Look, I don't want to do this. Blah, 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 blah." Now, the Cassie stuff is going to get walked down. All that Cassie talk is going to get forgotten about real quick because now you have more people that's added on in this situation. The feds have set the table. That's all they're doing. When you eat, you have to set the table first. Put the forks, spoon, knives, plates, all those things, cups, all those things on the table first. We haven't even got to the food yet. Food ain't even been served. Food is being brought out to the table right now and put in the middle of the table. We haven't even served the food, and then we ain't even started eating yet. And then guess what? We ain't even got to the dessert. I told y'all Rome was not built in one day. Cassie Ventura was just the appetizer, baby. Just the appetizer. You guys, we live in a world where everybody wants everything microwaved. That's not how it goes on in court. So now let's get back to question number 3. Back to what we are here for tonight. And we are here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Rico. Now, we're just going to talk about Cassie Ventura and anything surrounding Cassie and the Rico. We're not talking about any other victims. We're just talking strictly about Cassie and the Rico. Now, let's look at some of the witnesses. And line number 2, witness Dawn. Witness Carrie Morgan. Witness Cassie's mother, Regina Ventura. Those are the 3 witnesses, along with the security guard, that have been interviewed so far as witnesses. Right? Now, let's go to this. Rico asks, the feds must prove a few things. The feds must display, first of all, that there was an organization. So let's go to the allegations of racketeering, which is why we are here tonight. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. Oh, I don't know what Diddy's being charged with. Okay, we're going to show you, Vladimir. The grand jury charges, write this down, take a picture, for decades. That means 20-year span. Sean Combs, the defendant, abused. This is what they're accusing him of under the Rico. Everybody keeps talking about, man, why are they talking about the beatings, man? I don't understand this. This is domestic violence, man. It's not domestic violence when you're whipping other people's asses too. Domestic violence is violence in your home. When you start going out whipping other people's asses, employees' asses, all these other people's asses, that ain't just domestic violence. But let me go ahead and stir fry niggas. Stir fry. Complete cook, nigga. Because this is what I do. I am a cooker. The defendant abused. This is what he's being charged with under the Rico. He abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him. So they didn't say he coerced women. He coerced others around him as well to fulfill one part his sexual desires, protect his reputation. So they're saying that he did this to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, that's 1. Forced labor, that's 2. Kidnapping, that's 3. Arson, that's 4. Bribery, that's 5. And obstruction of justice, that's 6. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all the feds have to do is prove two acts of Rico. And we're just on Cassie. We ain't even got the victim 2. We ain't got the victim 4. We ain't got the victim 5. And see, here's the crazy part that nobody's thinking about. You can attack Cassie because you know Cassie's name. You will not be able to pull those same stunts on the people who will come under aliases and you don't know their names. Now you will have to go off the evidence of victim 2, victim 4, victim 5, and not a name. That's just another reason why you throw Cassie out there first. Get her out the way. Right? Janine, salute to you to cash up the donation. I appreciate you coming through. $50 donation tonight. She just put the chef pot up there. You already know, cooking. Ain't even no doubt about it. Right? Once again, this brother's asking, where's Lopez at? Sir, these crimes are not in the same time period. You guys have to read the indictment and read dates. Some of these people that y'all talking about are in a whole different time bracket. They're not involved in this indictment. You guys got to remember that some people y'all talking about is from the 90s. They're not in this. Late 90s, they're not in this. You going from around 2004, 2009, and up. Use y'all brains. Y'all keep asking the same questions, and I got answers, baby, because it's all in the paperwork. I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. Now, let's get to this. Rico acts must prove 2. All the feds have to do is prove that Diddy committed 2 of these Rico acts in a 10-year period, time span, and he faces life in prison just for the Rico. Now, this is just Kathy. We still got other victims. So they're not even going to just prove this about Diddy, which they've already done. They're going to stump him in the ground. They're going to make this impossible for him to come up out of this. Now let's keep going. Right? So, if you look at the first line, the very top, it says column 1. Underneath column 1, I put all the different things that the feds accused Diddy of in the Rico part of the indictment. Now, what is it to be a Rico ticket? It has to be more than one person in a Rico. A racketeering has to be more than one person, 2 or more people. Who are the 2 or more people? Well, guess what? They've already talked about that in the indictment. See line 3. Who's in line 3, y'all? 2 of Diddy's employees. They've already came and got to flip on him. Mr. David James, right? I want everybody to know this. Mr. David James and Mr. George Capelin. Those were the 2 people so far. That's so far. We early in this that work for Diddy that have flipped. That right there is racketeering right there. Because they're showing you that that's more than one person. And that is an organization. And these 2 guys were employees of Sean Diddy Combs. So that is an organization. Right? All right. Now we've established that these 2 guys work for Diddy and it's an organization. And by the way, What perfect witnesses for the victim, or what perfect witnesses for the prosecution? Why are they perfect for the prosecution? They're perfect because they didn't have no criminal history. You know why? Because if they had a criminal history, Diddy's lawyers would have stumped a mud hole in their ass in court when they went up there. They had nothing on them. They had no criminal history on them. So you couldn't attack their character and say that these were criminals and bad people and you can't trust them. Nope. They had no criminal history. That's why Diddy's lawyers never even touched that. Didn't even touch to it. They had zero criminal history. So you couldn't attack their character. Notice they couldn't do these guys like they did Cassie. Nope. Can't do it. You know why? Because they didn't know anything about these guys. They didn't know these guys. These guys were on the inside of the program. And you better believe Diddy's lawyers scraped the planet Earth to find dirt on these dudes. Couldn't find a wiffle ball bat. At least on the first one. The second one, when he goes to redirect, we're going to see how he stir-fry them on redirect. Because David James, he gave him that smoke yesterday that they wasn't looking for. Now, since we've established the two people that have already been named just with Cassie, and guess what, y'all? There are 4 more witnesses coming tomorrow, including Kid Cudi. Now, and this is all under Cassie's situation. We ain't even left Cassie yet. That's crazy. Now, top line: abuse, threatened, coerced, protect name, protect image, conceal, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction. Now, all the people that have been named so far in this trial, just on the Cassie part, except for the security guard, I didn't put him on this list, but he has been named, he has been in court, he testified first, who's now a police officer who has a stellar record. And you know he was a stand-up guy because he turned down a bribe from Diddy when Diddy tried to pay him in that hotel. They ain't gonna tell you about that. That's why they had no smoke for him. But let's look at how the feds have already proved the Rico. They only got to prove 2 of these acts. And they get a Rico conviction, and Diddy faces life in prison. Just for that Rico. Forget sex trafficking. Forget solicitation of prostitution. All they got to do is prove 2 acts of the Rico. 2 acts, that's it. That's the part y'all not understanding. And the racketeering, everything goes under that they listed in the indictment. They only have to prove 2. They don't even care about the sex. They don't even have to prove the sex trafficking if they prove 2 of these other things in the Rico. The nigga was hit with the Rico. Sex trafficking is a whole different charge. So when everybody's running around here saying, hey man, this ain't sex trafficking because you damn jabronis, you big piece of, I ain't gonna say that, jabronis. It's because that's not what he's only being charged with. The Rico, it covers everything, baby. Oh man. Oh my God. The Rico's like Visa, baby. It's everywhere you want to be. That's where Diddy's getting killed, is the Rico in court. Now, let's go to number 1, the abuse. Oh man, why are they talking about all this violence? I wonder why, man. This had nothing to do with the case. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it says it right here, racketeering, part number 1, right there. For decades, Sean Combs, the defendant, abused. Abused. Let's start with abused. So, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself right now, who has Diddy abused? We've already seen he's abused Cassie. We saw that on tapes. We saw photos. We saw all that. He abused Carrie Morgan. How do we know that? Because he paid her $30,000 after hitting her upside the head with a hanger and choking her and giving her a concussion. Right? Dawn has alleged that Diddy abused her. Now, she didn't allege that in this trial, so we will leave her out of this, but she has alleged that in her lawsuit. So we will leave her out of that. But he's got 2 instances right there that show you. And he ain't even got to have 2 instances. All they got to do is just prove that he abused somebody. We saw that with Cassie. So Cassie and Carrie, this is just the beginning. Cassie and Carrie, we know for a fact they was abused. He paid Carrie because he hit her upside the head with a wooden hanger, gave her a concussion, and choked her ass out. So y'all want to know why they showing all the abuse? It's because the Rico Lebowski threatened. Who did Diddy threaten? He threatened Cassie. We saw that. He threatened Carrie. How did he threaten Carrie, Ticket? When he went in there and she said he choked her ass out and demanded to know where was Cassie. Dawn testified that she was threatened by Diddy. That Diddy would tell them that I make people go missing. Now you have strength in numbers. Who else? George Capelin, the worker you see right here, the dude who's ready to start crying. He cried in the car. He cried in the car. He cried in the car. I know he cried in the car. He said that Diddy threatened him damn near every month. He said Diddy threatened him every month. He said every month Diddy threatened him, man. That's crazy. God, this man going to prison forever. I just gave you 2 that he can be found guilty of easy on the Rico. That's life. Maximum life sentence. This cook is easy, man. This cook is easy, bro. Also, he threatened Moppy Top on the right-hand side. He threatened Moppy Top. You know why he threatened him? Because Moppy Top testified that when he popped that Molly and drunk that drink and was Diddy bopping at the party, he said Diddy came up to him and asked him, hey, bro, this you on the video? And he said Diddy threatened that he was going to use that video. He was going to hold it and use it if he needed to. Remember he testified that in open court? Those are threats. That's extortion too. You forgot. I didn't. I don't forget. My mind is on a different level. Coerced. The doctor came in today and showed that Cassie, there are sessions of coercion. Not only that, we saw that on the video. We saw it. And you had the sex worker say that Diddy was giving instructions and coercing the event during their sex. The first sex worker that testified. So they've shown an instance of coercion already. Just with Cassie. We ain't even got to the other victims yet. The chart's going to fill up when they start going to victim 2, victim 4, victim 5. It's going to fill up. Protect his image. David James, back to Moppy Top on the right-hand side. He testified that they would do things to make sure they protected and served Sean Diddy Combs. Man on your left testified today, George Capelin. He testified in open court that the reason why Diddy had him cleaning up those hotel rooms was to protect his image. So that's why instead of having the hotel staff go in there and clean up, Diddy would have his own people go in those rooms and clean up those rooms. And guess what? Those 2 ain't the only ones that's going to say that. I know somebody else going to say it too. And he got receipts, messages and everything. But I ain't going to say no names. I'm going to wait till he come up. He's not going to come up with Cassie. He's coming up with a whole different victim. How do I know? Send the paperwork, Lebowski. Send the paperwork, baby. Next. Conceal. Conceal. These are the things in the Rico. Conceal. Diddy damn near broke every Rico act they claimed up here. Conceal. Carrie Morgan. Let's start off with Carrie. She's number 1 on the list. Carrie Morgan. What did Diddy conceal was Kerry Morgan. Easy work. He concealed that he beat that ass. Why? Because Kerry Morgan was going to sue Diddy. And that was going to be public. And what did Diddy do? He paid her off. So he concealed his acts of violence against that woman. Paid her $30,000. Cassie. Well, how did he conceal something with Cassie? He concealed it with Cassie. Why? Because they testified that Cassie would be sent to hotels to hide out while she healed from her wounds of his ass whooping. Whenever he decided he was going to beat that ass. George Capelin concealed. George Capelin used to say they used to make sure they clean up and do all these things to conceal any of the acts that Diddy was committing. He testified that in open court today. Same thing as David James, but I didn't even put him up there on the list. Sex trafficking, got him with Cassie already. Cassie already has one instance where she showed that she told Diddy she didn't want to do it, and he used, allegedly, that video on multiple occasions. But he used it one time and threatened that he was going to release it if she didn't come. Forced labor. Cassie testified to how she was forced to do free calls for 4 days at a time sometimes, without breaks. She testified how free calls would last hours and hours and hours. David James, Moppy Top, on the right-hand side, forced labor. He came into open court yesterday and testified that he was forced to work 20-hour shifts, 8 a.m. to 4 a.m. He only had 4 hours of sleep every day, and he said he worked 3 straight weeks without having 1 day off one time. A few times. He worked 3 straight weeks with no day off. 20-hour shifts. That's forced labor like a mofo. And he said not only him, he said that the security staff was forced to do the same thing and work those same shifts, which lets me know that when they bring up those security guys to testify, they're going to say the same thing about the forced labor. Easy work. Forced labor. George Capelin, forced labor. Left-hand side, once again, the crybaby, who will be back on the stand tomorrow morning. Forced labor. He came up there today and said that Diddy had him working 80 to 100 hours a week. 80 to 100 hours a week. Everybody in the comment section, how many hours do y'all work on average per week? Tell me in the comment section. Think about this. If you work 8 hours a day, 9 to 5, right? You work a 9 to 5. You work Monday through Friday and got Saturday and Sunday off. How many hours is that? What's 8 times 5, y'all? Come on now. Because we know 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus 16 is 32. And that's 40 hours. Diddy had these people working 80 to 100 hours a week. Forced labor. Forced labor. Forced labor. That's easy to prove. That's 3 people that have already said forced labor. So all they got to do is have 2. Damn it, I got 5 instances right now. Kidnapping. We already know Cassie. We already know Cassie. He said we've seen Cassie get kidnapped and held against her will. When you prevent somebody from leaving, that's kidnapping. The only reason Cassie was able to escape in that hotel video is because the security guard came up there after she called him. Diddy had taken her bags and taken her phone back to the room. Remember, they talked about how on multiple occasions Diddy would take her phone from her, take all this stuff. That's why her mama flew out to LA and was ready to whoop his ass. Think about it now. Kidnapping. And then here's the appetizer. When Kid Cudi come tomorrow, man, that whole kidnapping thing coming out tomorrow. So they're going to have multiple instances of kidnapping after tomorrow because Kid Cudi comes tomorrow and somebody is going to testify and a few witnesses are going to come and testify because read that paperwork. And I told you, this is all in the filings. For example, in the early morning hours of December 22nd, 2011, Diddy and a co-conspirator kidnapped an individual at gunpoint. Why they keep talking about guns? Oh, man, I heard somebody say today, hey, man, they ain't got no fingerprints on the guns. Nigga, they got witnesses with the nigga with the guns. And they got witnesses they're going to go and show. And they found guns in his home. They got witnesses and multiple people that have talked about situations where he had guns in his hand. They found guns in his home. And now they have multiple witnesses to this. Read what it says. It says, for example, in the early morning hours of December 22nd, 2011, the defendant and a co-conspirator kidnapped an individual at gunpoint to facilitate breaking into and entering the residence of another individual, one who's Kid Cudi. Multiple witnesses. That's why they got 4 witnesses coming tomorrow. Multiple witnesses will testify at trial. That means tomorrow. This is the pre-trial paperwork, y'all. To the events surrounding the kidnapping and break-in. So now they're going to have multiple people that show that Diddy kidnapped this dude at gunpoint. That's multiple witnesses. So when we look at the kidnapping, after tomorrow, the kidnapping is going to be impossible to say he didn't do. And the arson too. How do I know? Right here, the paperwork filings. Ain't no cap in my rap, nigga. Approximately 2 weeks later, Diddy's co-conspirators set fire to Kid Cudi's vehicle by slicing open the car's convertible top and dropping a Molotov cocktail inside the interior. Police and fire department reports extensively document the arson and conclude that the fire was intentionally set. They're going to prove that arson. That's another part of the Rico. What else do we have? Bribery. Well, who did Diddy bribe, Ticket? Well, everybody he paid off. He bribed the security guard. The security guard already testified I Diddy tried to give him money. You know why the security guard is going to be so much of a dude that they have so much faith in? Because he doesn't have a negative background. Diddy's lawyers couldn't find anything on the guy. He didn't have any bad history, and he refused to take all that money from Diddy. He could have got rich right there. Just for that, he could have made a whole year's salary just off that one incident if he would have took that money from Diddy. The fact he didn't take that money from Diddy, they used him as a top-notch credible witness. So they bribed the security guard. Then he bribed Carrie. How did he bribe Carrie? Paid her that money, gave her that $30K not to come out and talk that talk. That was mentioned in court. He didn't deny that either. They paid her ass $30K. That's bribery, proven. And the last one, obstruction of justice. Obstruction of justice happened when he tried to stop Cassie from calling the authorities and taking her phone. Remember when he took Cassie's phone right there? He got a phone in her hand. This demon took her phone and her bags. Look at him. Got the bags right there on the floor. And he took the phone. Got the phone and took the bags back to the room. Took her phone and came back. She trying to call the cops on this nigga. Right? She trying to call the cops on this nigga. And to the person, 2 Cents Boxing, who says, with a donation that's longer than 10 years, no, man. Within a 10-year span, buddy. Listen. That's the problem what you guys don't do. Y'all don't listen. Shout out to Nina Stevenson with the donation and Deron 5 Dogan with the donation. Salute to you, brother. You have to listen, brother. Within a 10-year span, it has to be 2 acts of racketeering within a 10-year span, buddy. Are you listening? Within a 10-year span. And again, everybody needs to understand, we just on victim 1. We on Cassie. We ain't even got off Cassie. We haven't even got off Cassie. That's the crazy part. We haven't even got the victim 2. So when everybody asks y'all, man, this don't make, I'm seeing violence, that's it. Duh! because he's being charged with violence. Literally. That's what the Racketeering Act is. They put all your violent acts under one charge. So what happens? Guess what happens? The statute of limitations don't matter. Because once you have an organization, now they can charge you under the Rico. How do they know he has an organization? Because you have had his workers come in and testify that they worked in his organization and committed criminal acts for him. Buying drugs, delivering drugs. Driving on missions where he had loaded guns. They found guns with full magazines. This is just too easy, bro. So when everybody asks you and play that stupid game like they don't know, come in the comment section, just stir fry their ass. Just say, bro, listen, man. All you gotta do is go read the indictment. It's right there on the paperwork, dog. It's right there. It's right there on the U.S. indictment, brother. You ain't even got to go to page 3. Then when they bring that stupid shit up, when they say, "Oh man, but the Cassie thing," yes, it is. It's right there. He's literally being charged on that Cassie video too. Says it right there in the paperwork. Look at it. It tells you how the violence was widely and recurrently known. It says on numerous occasions, from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years. Combs assaulted women by, among other things. This is in the indictment. That's why these niggas keep talking about some, man, why they showing violence, man? It's the mess. Because you big damn fool, you big dummy, you big dummy. Because it says it in the racketeering, you big dummy. Charge. Right there. Plain day. Combs assaulted women by, among other things. All they're doing is proving exactly what they wrote in the indictment. Striking, we saw that. Punching, dragging, throwing objects at. He did it to Cassie and he did it to Carrie Morgan when he hit her and gave her a concussion with the hanger and paid her off. And kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others, included at one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March of 2016. He ain't being charged for the Cassie. Yes, he is. Which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Obstruction of justice, ladies and gentlemen. Bribery. Shit is easy work. Not to mention they got Diddy for extortion, which is what he did to Cassie's mom and her dad when he threatened to release that video if they didn't pay them, and she went and paid the bad boy. And then once Diddy figured out, damn, I messed up, the dummy sent the money back, but that time he had already had it to him. Oh, man, this is easy work, man. It's too easy, man. It's too easy, man. It's too easy. You don't even need, because it's all in the paperwork. It's literally all in the paper. You don't need, it don't even take a rocket scientist to figure this out. All you gotta do is just read the paperwork. It's right there. If you literally read the indictment, it says exactly what happened. And they're proving exactly what this nigga doing. Kicking, hitting, striking. It's in the indictment. It's right there under the racketeer. I blew it up for you. I blew it up so you can read it. That's crazy work. His lawyers are trying to fool y'all because they know that a lot of people are just big dummies. So they say, hey, man, this is domestic violence. This is domestic. You idiot. He's being charged with abuse. He's being charged with abuse. This sex trafficking is a whole different charge. He's not going to be able to deny the organization. The more and more the feds pull out all these people, and notice how the feds are doing it. Boy, the feds some dirty mofos. You know what the feds doing, y'all? They slow walking this thing. They bringing the low level hitters, and they building up. Everybody else that come after this, they're gonna be heavy hitters. And then who's gonna be the last person to come out that curtain and drop the people's elbow? What worker is gonna turn on Diddy last? What is Diddy gonna say when all of his all of his employees, all of the people that were under him, what is he gonna say when they've all turned on him and took plea deals? And they've all admitted guilt. Think about that now. When you take a plea deal, you admit guilt to crimes. So all of his workers are admitting to criminal activity under him, buying drugs for him, giving them drugs, doing all these things. Think about what I just said. And all y'all are going to see is that all these people are naming, they got to get down or lay down. You see what happened with that dude today? He walked into court crying because he really didn't want to testify. He walked to court crying. This is him going into court. He didn't really want to testify, man. But when they hit your ass with that subpoena, brother, you're going to take your ass in there. You a family man, dog. You 34 years old now, brother. When this stuff happened, you were probably what, 20, 21 years old? You hurt. I know it hurts. You're at a whole different point in your life now, buddy. You got a wife probably. You got kids that's looking at you. Man, he like, man, I can't leave my kids, bro. You probably never thought this would ever come back up. 14, 15 years ago, you thought that shit was buried. But dumbass Diddy out here beating on these girls, doing all this dumb shit to make him hot, don't got everybody in trouble. These are facts. So now, they're going to choose their family over you. When George goes home and talks to his mother and his father, and they look at him in disappointment and say, man, I can't believe you were involved in this, Sonny. See? Oh, yeah. You think them security guards want to do 15, 20-year Fed time? When they got a deal to walk away, either scotch-free, or if they got a criminal history with light punishment on a Fed charge? Let me tell y'all something. How much y'all want to bet? How much you want to bet that they all take pleas? And here's the thing. The more and more they hear about these other people going in and testifying against Diddy, the pressure builds on them because they have been exposed. And now they know that they potentially could be facing life and prison because of their role in the racketeering. Let me get y'all this again. The racketeering is not the sex trafficking charge. The sex trafficking charge is a completely different charge. That's the part people are forgetting about. Everybody keeps asking, why are they talking about the violence? Why are they talking about the guns? Why are they talking about all this stuff? Because it's the racketeering. It is a part of the racketeering. When you use an organization to commit criminal acts, that is racketeering. They used to use it for the mob. So when the mob created and committed all these heinous acts over years, and the bosses would have all these little dudes under him doing all this dirt, and they couldn't get the boss. What they did was they put it all together for a Rico Act, so that all those criminal activities that they could prove over the course of years, even if they ran out of personal state statute of limitations, robberies, beatings, all those other things. They put it all under the statute of the Rico so that they could charge you for having a criminal organization and having people do your dirty work. So if you want to be mad at somebody, you need to be mad at Sean Diddy Combs. Because look at the people that Diddy picked. Look at the people that he picked. You slipping, B. You was never supposed to have them. Diddy got these dudes buying drugs. That's crazy work. You think they ain't gonna snitch? They was gonna snitch from the jump. No criminal record? Man, come on, man. This dude was crazy, bro. And they keep talking about the guy they was getting these drugs from. They called him One Stop. He had all the drugs. He had Viagra, birth control pills, Plan B, all that stuff. Wait till the end, in my opinion, when they bring One Stop in there and have One Stop testify that he dealt to these guys. If they get One Stop, because the feds, they don't, all the people they talking about, they pulling these people up. They pulling these people up in court at some point in time. I'm telling y'all this. All them people. And then you're going to find out after the trial, like I told y'all, the people who had prior records and they signed certain deals. Not everybody, I don't think, is going to get full immunity. Some people who had prior records will probably get lighter sentences, but they'll get sentenced after this case is over with. They'll have their own individual sentencing based off of they gave testimony, lighter sentencing. Oh, yeah. And the way the feds work, man, the feds will send people at you to get you to commit criminal acts just so they can jam you up. You know what else I think about right now? One thing we don't know is the feds got a warrant, and I thought about this. The feds got a warrant to search Diddy's homes. I thought about other cases, and I thought to myself, I had to know, why did the feds run into Diddy's hotel room early when he went to New York and he was going to willingly turn himself in? You know what I think? I'm starting to think that the feds had Diddy's phone tapped. I'm starting to think that somewhere in this trial, I smell a wiretap. If they got a search warrant on his homes and found all those things in his homes, I believe they were then able to get a wiretap on Sean Diddy Combs' phone. And that is how I believe the feds found out that Diddy could have or was continuing to or whatever and ran inside that hotel room. Found all those things in that room. We're going to find out in this trial that's the case. But when the feds come in, they make sure that they dot every I and they cross every T, man. And they also come with surprises to throw you off. And let me say this. Everybody says, oh, what about the defense? They're going to present their case. The feds are already ready for that shit. They know anybody that goes up there and testifies for Diddy is going to be crooked. They're going to tear their ass up on cross. See, this chart It's very small. In 7 or 8 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, when this chart is full and it's bigger and you see the entire scope, I'm going to do a major chart and I'm going to show y'all all the aspects of this chart. And when you see this, you will say, damn, that's crazy work. Crazy work. When you see all of the employees, all of the security guards, all of the witnesses, all of the victims, all of the other individuals that's involved. Man, that chart is going to be crazy. Crazy. Right? So Kathy was just the bait. You know, the feds had to throw bait out there. She's just a bait. You better believe the feds know that they want to end this case with a bang. So you're not going to put your major stuff out first. Oh, you're going to come in last with your most heavy-hitting things because they want to make sure that at the end, the jury remembers the most damning, devastating things. Remember, something was said in court today by George Caplan. He said something in court. He said in court that Christina Coram was Diddy's everything. Lord have mercy. What is the end game? What is the end game? We still haven't got to her either. Well, they allege that she was done disrespectfully. We'll find out about that chef too. He coming tomorrow. He coming tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen. Hey, man. When it comes to breaking this thing down, I'm the best there is. I'm the best there was. I'm the best there ever will be. I hope y'all took notes. Class dismissed. All right, you guys. So we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym, work out, exercise, and do what you got to do to stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.